Hey everybody, today we're here with Emily with Equity Eats, and we're going to talk about food access and some of the resources that are out there for our community. Make sure you like, share, and comment down below, and of course, put a big thumbs up. Thank you guys. Welcome everybody to another Family That Learns initiative class. Today we are doing nutrition with Emily from Equity Eats. We're super excited. Today's topic is all about food access and resources that are out there in the community. I think it's super important when it comes to nutrition. How can we get the best nutrition? And for some people, access is always a barrier. So Emily, would you like to introduce yourself to everybody, all the viewers at home, and tell us a little bit about what you do, both professionally and as at Equity Eats.
Yeah, so I'm Emily. I am a co-founder of Equity Eats. My counterpart, Elena, is another dietitian. We are a pair of dietitians that really found a love for providing nutrition education to the community in all aspects of that. So providing education and resources to people who may not otherwise have access to nutrition education. My full-time day job is as a dietitian in a hospital, and Elena and I both work on Equity Eats kind of outside of that, providing education to the public. I'm really excited to be here to talk to you about nutrition resources for food and access, as far as SNAP and WIC and all of the other wonderful things that are available to you. Yeah,
no, it's perfect. Well, let's get into it, because I think not a lot of people understand what SNAP is. I think I'm used to the old school concept of food stamps. So is that the same thing, or?
Yeah. So food stamps kind of got a revamp as SNAP. That is the formerly known as food stamps program. And SNAP is really wonderful. It's a federally funded program that is provided to individuals based on an income eligibility requirement, which means that you have to make a certain amount of money or less to be able to qualify for this program. And it works as a debit card. So you can take it to the grocery store, you can take it to farmers markets, you can use it in a lot of different places. A lot of the time it has to be used on food products. There are some limitations on the things that you can use it for, but for the most part, it covers generally your fruits, vegetables, milk, eggs, all of those really important basics and things that you would want.
So anything that's not cooked?
Yes, so there are some limitations. You couldn't go and use your SNAP dollars for a rotisserie chicken, for example, but you could use it on a box of pasta or anything else to make.
Chicken.
Yes, a raw chicken,
perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you talked about eligibility, do you have to be working, or is it a situation where maybe you're a student? Does that equate to being eligible?
Absolutely. So there's different requirements for being a student, which is really awesome. I wish I had known about that when I was in college, because I think that they open up a lot of extra resources for college kids. You don't have to be working. There are certain eligibility requirements for if you're not working. You have to provide proof of documentation that you're looking for work. However, that was suspended momentarily during COVID. It's a state-by-state run program, even though it's a federally funded program. So Oregon may have different rules and regulations on when they want to restart, or if they have restarted, that eligibility requirement as far as working or looking for work. Another really cool aspect of the SNAP program that I haven't mentioned yet that I love a lot is that they have these thing called double up bucks. So you can use them at farmers markets, and say you want to spend $20 of your SNAP money. They'll actually give you $40 to spend at the farmers market. So you'll get kind of a 2-for-1, and your money will go farther at the market.
Definitely. And I think that's one of the biggest things that deters people from going to farmers market is they feel that it's super expensive. And if you're a low-income family, or you're on a budget, or you're even a student, to go to a farmer's market and spend $3-4 per pound on something is not as appealing as if it was like $2 or $1 a pound.
Yeah. So it's a really great incentive to kind of give back to your local community, invest in the local farmers and produce, but also being able to provide for your family those really wonderful, nutritious things.
Yes, keeping it local, I think that's super the key.
Yeah.
Not necessarily always buying, grocery stores, but really just keeping the money in the community. I love that.
Yeah.
So when we talk about other programs, what are some other programs that are out there that can help with nutritional needs? Because I think, when we're talking about SNAP, we're talking about, mostly you have to know how to cook. And it's also for low income, people or persons. But is there any other programs that are out there?
Yeah, there's a lot of programs out there. One of the things that first comes to mind is another federally funded program called WIC, which stands for Women, Infants, and Children. This is a different program. It's designed for women who are either pregnant, breastfeeding, or have children under the age of 5. If you're a single parent or a single dad, you can also qualify as long as your child is under the age of 5. And what this is it's kind of like an all-access resources. So you go into a clinic, you'll meet with a team of providers, they have dietitians, they have medical professionals, they also have access to a whole bunch of different resources in the community, so getting help for covering housing or job fairs or all of that kind of stuff. They also provide food boxes or vouchers for certain items of food. There are a little bit more stringent kind of guidelines on the foods that you can buy with the WIC dollars. It tends to be kind of your staple foods like eggs, milk, bread. Infant formula can sometimes be covered as well, which is really great.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So we have WIC, we have SNAP. What are the food resources that are out there? I mean, because like we said before, like if you have your own house, then I think this is very valuable. But if you're houseless, what are the resources out there?
Yeah, definitely. And so WIC and SNAP are great, but they really only cater to a very small subset of people who are meet the eligibility requirements of having a certain number of amount of income. So say you don't have a house, you don't have things to be able to necessarily store something in a fridge, or say you make too much money to qualify for SNAP, but you still need help. There are a lot of resources, especially here in Portland. It's really wonderful. So we have a lot of food banks. The Oregon Food Bank is a really wonderful network of food pantries. The big one that we have in Portland is the Portland Metro Food Bank. They're open Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, and they service kind of full service of being able to offer lots of different food and resources there.
Sweet. Yeah, I mean, we at Feed the Mass, we do the Fed program where every Monday and Friday we give out meals outside our door and we work with community members. So I think that is definitely the people who either make too much or the people who honestly just don't have the means or access to technology or even access to a place to get signed up for SNAP. It's kind of pointless at some point to go through that process.
Yeah, definitely. I think that those SNAP and WIC can be a really helpful tool for some people, but they definitely are not. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach. And so that's where places like Feed the Mass or the Blanchet House really come into play of being able to offer some things that maybe fit the gaps that those other programs don't provide. One really great resource that I love, if you're looking for resources in your area, is the Food Finder from the Oregon Food Bank. So we can provide a link in
description down below.
And we can provide a link in the description down below for the Oregon Food Bank Food Finder. It's on a website. You can type in your address and you can see all of the different kinds of food and resources that are available to you. One thing that I really like about it is that you can pick if you have a certain day or a certain time that you prefer, or if you prefer kind of like pantry goods like pasta and bread, or if you need like a hot meal. So they have kind of all of those check boxes, and you can really kind of search for what you're looking for to fit your need, which is great.
So my question I'm going to ask you is, when we are in this when we're going out shopping and we have SNAP, as a dietitian, I think we're trying to figure out what is the best usage of our dollars. And one of the big questions I had was, is organic or non-organic like healthier or better choice? Because I think, understanding like you have say $300 and that $300 for the entire month, like the difference between getting a non-organic sometimes can be double or even triple the price. So as a dietitian, what should we be looking for when we're going out if we are, using SNAP or even just trying to eat healthier? What would be the better choices?
Yeah, so that's a really great question, and I get that a lot. While eating organic can be really helpful from a eco-friendly point of view, it's not necessarily the most budget-friendly point of view. And so as far as nutrition is concerned, my biggest concern is that I want everyone to be able to eat a balanced diet, meaning fruits, vegetables, whole grains, adequate amounts of protein, lots of really good hydration. And so if buying non-organic products is going to be able to give everyone a better chance at having a balanced diet, that's definitely the way to go.
Perfect.
I think that there is some merit in buying organic if you're really concerned about preserving the soil. If you have the means to invest in foods like that, I think that it can be a really great thing. However, there's nothing wrong with non-organic foods, and it can be equally as nutritious and satisfying and important for your body as the non-organic.
Perfect. And then so another question is always going to be, we're talking about nutrients and dense, I think, with Elena. So I want to talk about this when we're shopping and we're on a budget and everything like that. Which is a better vegetable, the fresh, the canned, or the frozen, or is there really a big difference?
Yeah, that's a great question. And I think that there's a really big misconception that fresh is always best. Fresh is great, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the most nutritious option for you. Frozen is, when we think about the frozen foods, they're actually picked at their peak freshness and they're put in the freezer, which means that they have a longer shelf life if you can keep them in the freezer until you're ready to cook them. So there's some really good positives to using the frozen foods. Nutritionally, frozen and fresh are very, very similar. You're going to get many of the same nutrients that you're going to get from fresh. You don't lose a lot of that in the freezing process. Canned is also a great option. My one hang up on canned foods is that sometimes they tend to sneak a lot of extra sodium or salt in it. So sodium tends to be placed in canned vegetables, and the sugar tends to be in the canned fruit options. And so being really careful about which options you're buying. If you're going to buy a canned product, I say look for the one that is packed in a water rather than a syrup solution. Those kind of things can help lower your sodium and your overall sugar intake, which can help kind of improve your nutritional status. But canned produce, canned fruits and vegetables are still nutritious. They still have a lot of the really big vitamins and nutrients and fiber that we're looking for. So they're equally good options.
Perfect. So my next question is going to be, have you ever had to do SNAP or WIC or anything like that?
I have, actually, yeah. So when I was in grad school, I wasn't able to work very much because I had a really crazy schedule. I had taken out a whole bunch of loans to pay for my grad program. And so I didn't have a lot of income coming in. And it was kind of ironic, right? I was studying nutrition and I had to go on food stamps to be able to buy my own food. But that's just kind of the state of the world and how it was. And I thought it was, I actually thought it was really, really helpful. I used my double up bucks at the farmer's market, which was really helpful. It definitely took a big weight off of my shoulders as far as buying groceries so that I could spend what little money I actually had saved up on other things that I needed to use it for.
For sure. And how did you shop? What was your go-to places when you were shopping?
Yeah, so I was back on the East Coast, so I would just go to my regular grocery store there, and I kind of had a plan that I would spend as much as I could on the farmer's market on produce of what was in season and what was available, because I got those double up bucks, so that really helped out. So when I went to the grocery store, I kind of spent my SNAP dollars on things like protein, so chicken mostly, fish. I'm not a beef eater, but that would have been a good go-to because that can be kind of cheap if you like beef. And then my kind of staple carbs, so loaves of bread, flour. I like to bake a lot of bread, so that was a nice thing that I could do. And then just general kind of snacks and drinks as well. But with some careful planning, those dollars can go a long way.
Oh, for sure.
And they have a lot of incentives. So one of the things that they have, if you spend a certain amount of money on fruits and vegetables every month, they actually give you an extra amount in your SNAP dollars.
Yeah.
So I think in Massachusetts, which is where I was from at the time, which was several years ago, I think if you spent at least $20 on fruits and vegetables, they gave you another $40.
Oh,
but
wow.
I don't know, that is really dependent on the state, the year, the funding of what they have at SNAP. So just because that's what I had a couple years ago in Massachusetts doesn't mean that that's what they're offering now in Oregon.
Definitely. And I know that like the people that are working at the city that give you these SNAP cards can also explain a lot of this process, which I think is super important to understand how your SNAP benefits work. And actually really understand what are some really good extra benefits you can get with SNAP. Because I know there are certain places, even like not necessarily restaurants, but like pizza places where you can actually go in and get like a pizza with your EBT card. And I think even Amazon online, you can use your EBT card to purchase food on Amazon.
Yeah, there's a lot of different resources and a lot of more places are starting to take it, which is really wonderful. 211 is the phone number that you can call. They can help walk you through signing up for SNAP. There's also a website for SNAP and you can fill out an application. But if you're not really sure where to start, if you're not really confident in websites or navigating the web space, I think 211 can be a really great place to start because they can also set you up with other resources while you're at it. You can kind of explain X, Y, and Z are the things that I feel like I need in my life. They can help you with housing, they can help you with jobs, but they can also definitely help walk you through the application process for SNAP or WIC.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I mean, I hope this has been super helpful for everybody. Emily, if people wanted to get a hold of you and ask you more questions, whether it's about dietitian questions or even more about Equity Eats, how can people get a hold of you?
Email is right now the best way to do it. Alina and I are still working on uploading our Instagram page and our website. Those will be live very soon, hopefully. But I will make sure we post our email down below in the comments, and so that if you have any questions, you can reach out that way.
Perfect. So Emily, thank you so much for being here. Guys, if you like this and you want to ask any questions, make sure you have questions down below in the description. Make sure you follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, and now on YouTube, feedthemass.com/YouTube. And of course, when they get their social media and everything situated, we'll make sure we promote them as much as possible because they've been an essential partner in About Nutrition and helping us with all the classes that we're doing. So thank you guys so much. Thank you guys, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Get out there, start eating better.